Like, I'm really worried about Florida this weekend for A&M.
Nah, don't be.
I'm worried.
I don't think it's a worrisome game for y'all. I think it was more about Texas's flaws than what Florida did really well.
They got a really good defensive line.
Yeah, but y'all have a really good offensive line.
Sure, but I'm just saying
we don't have our offensive line sucks.
I love to hear that, by the way.
They're too young. They're way too young.
Yeah, well, that was kind of what we were told. Like, that's what we were saying at Texas, like, during the offseason for both LSU and Texas was, you don't just replace these guys magically and it works guaranteed, right? And it happened to A&M in 21. If you remember in 2020, great offensive line. They all go to the NFL. Was it 3 of the guys went to the NFL? Then the next year, the offensive line was good, but it took a while. Like, it took 5 games in for the offensive line to figure it out. I haven't watched enough Texas to know, but I mean, are they bad or are they just young?
They're young. They're young. These are all blue chip recruits, and they will get it. And even Sark after the game talked about this. He said, this group hasn't played together enough. So this is something that you have to kind of pay the dues, right? Like, you have to go on the road and get your butts handed to. I know the score indicates something else. That wasn't a close game at all. I turned it off at one point. I was like, there's no way they're coming back, even though they had a chance to potentially tie it on that final drive. But that's what you have to do. And that's why the preseason hype, it was fun. It was like, hey, Texas is #1, Arch Manning hype, all that. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, this O-line is so different from last year. And that's what made that team really stand out, was they're good in the trenches, the SEC style. That's what you need. They're not that good right now. They will be, I think, because you have really talented players. It's just they have to get more reps. They have to go and lose these games. They have to go play teams. It just can't be like, oh, we're Texas, we're just showing up and we're going to win. And what Florida did, they looked faster, they were stronger, they just executed better. The Horns thought they were just going to walk in and win. And I don't think it had anything to do with like going to a tough place. I think they were just outmatched up front. They were. Well, there's nothing about it. The defense did its job, by the way. They only gave up 20 points. So you did enough to win that game from a defensive standpoint. It's just your offense couldn't find that really good flow.
Well, I told you before the season started, I thought that was going to be Texas's first loss. I thought going to the Swamp with the level of talent that they have there. So when they come to Kyle Field, look, A&M should win this game. Even if Florida didn't lose the South Florida game, I still think A&M should win this game. That being said, they got a good offensive line. They got a good defensive line. They got a really good running back. They got a quarterback, when healthy, that can beat you. They've got a wide receiver in Dallas Wilson that is maybe every bit as good as Cam Coleman. A&M did a good job against Cam Coleman this year, but Cam Coleman ate their lunch last year. I find them to be similar to Auburn in many ways, with more. I think they should be better, right?
It should be.
Florida could still make the SEC championship game. They got one loss in SEC play. So even though they've lost 3 games, I don't think they're going to run the table, but like they've got enough talent on that roster to beat you. They just have a very bad play caller in Billy Napier and a quarterback that seems to get hurt a lot. I think he was a little bit gimp at the end of that game. There was a point in the third quarter he was very hobbled running, right? He didn't run.
And after their last game, they had a bye week as well, but after their last game, he was in a boot. Right, So it's an injury that's going to linger for a while.
Well, I heard the boot was because he got stepped on. That he was fine. He actually practiced that entire week. It was He had the boot on off the field, but not. He was able to be a full go at practice, which is why he looked a little bit more. Think about it. He didn't practice at all during the spring. Barely practiced in the fall, so he had very limited reps. I was told during the bye week and leading up to the game against Texas, he was a full go at practice.
Yeah, full go. But he had that boot on, and I guess that was to protect, right, as we were saying. But yeah, he was limping a little bit towards the end. And it's funny you mentioned the play calling way in the fourth quarter. You're just like, what are you doing? Like, you can't just run, and not take some shots. Like, you have to go for the kill, and they didn't, and that left the door just slightly open. Slightly open. It was just enough, right? Like a little cold air got in there. But Texas loses. They get their first loss in SEC play. They play Oklahoma this weekend. And I have a predicament that I want to get to at some point. about Texas versus OU. And I think it'd be fun to get it with our guest as well. So
Okay.
I'll hold that one. I'll hold that thought for a second.
As for A&M, I think the way you described the Florida-Texas game is kind of how I described the Auburn A&M game. If you watch that game, even though it was a one-score game, you knew A&M mopped the freaking floor with them. They just didn't maximize their opportunities. I think this week against Mississippi State, in the second half, they did maximize their opportunities. They were able to, like the first half, it was just, they had too many penalties, man. Texas A&M, who else? I think Vanderbilt, like all these teams that are really good. Well, I don't know if Texas is really good, but all these teams that are really good penalized a lot. And that's interesting. Miami's penalized a bunch. Like there's a lot of really top teams. A&M, like they're just, every game is double-digit penalties.
The penalties were wild, man. These good teams and teams that you thought were going to be good, you can't get penalized that much, but you still overcome it and you win, except for Vanderbilt. I don't think penalties have anything to do with that loss. I think they just got outplayed more than anything. Texas, you can make an argument towards that end of third quarter to the fourth quarter. It was bad. Like they could not get an offensive drive without a false start. It was bad. So again, that goes to the young team. They're going to have to go through this. It sucks, but they'll be better for it at some point next year, hopefully, on my end.
All right, when Hutton joins us here in a minute, Jonathan Hutton for the OutKick will join us, and we'll just chit-chat about this. This is something that's kind of come up on the show a couple different times this season, and like as we go deeper into the season, I think it becomes a bigger question. Is there a team that scares you in college football, right? Like Miami and Ohio State, Oregon potentially seem to be like the cream of the crop, but okay, Miami beat Notre Dame at home in a one-score game that, I think Miami dominated that game, but it was a one-score game. A&M beat that same Notre Dame team on the road by, a point. Ohio State beat Texas. Okay, but is Texas any good this year? Oregon beat Penn State. Well, Penn State just lost to UCLA, who didn't know how to win football games up until Penn State came. So, like, you look at these teams, and we have said many times, Raheel, that it is more wide open than it's ever been. I don't know if there's a team that doesn't have a lot of flaws.
You're right. They're not. And then this weekend we find out Oregon, Indiana, that matchup. If Indiana beats Oregon, then what happens there? Is Indiana that team? Are we saying Indiana's one of the best teams in the nation? And they could be that potential team. We do this exercise every week, right? If you have to put money on two teams to be in the title game, who are you putting that money on? And I think Ohio State is one for sure. Like, you got to put money on Ohio State to be there because they're consistently making a run in the playoffs, it seems like. And after that, I don't know. The SEC, I have no idea. Could it be Texas A&M? Could y'all make a run?
Well,
right? Top five right now. You still have a lot of season left, but you have everything you want in a team that can make a run for 4 games.
Well, I think we've got Jonathan Hutton with us now. And I first thing I want to talk about, that's my guy, by the way, OutKick. Check out his great work. But everybody's got a cool shirt on. Raheel's got Purple Rain on. What are you wearing, Hutton?
DBAP, OutKick.
There we go. A little G.I. Joe action.
If my nieces are watching, it stands for Don't Be a Punk.
Don't be a punk.
Yeah, but,
You can alternate the word.
That's right. That's right.
What's up, man?
Don't be a pussy willow. Don't be a pussy willow.
How you been?
I'm great, man. Can't complain. I heard a brief discussion of what you guys were talking about. I'm with you, man. This is the portal on steroids, right? Mm-hmm. I love it. Absolutely love it. So
let's kind of go there for a second. Who is like clearly the top team in college football? Raheel asked, could it be A&M? Look, we've got to see more consistency from Marcel Reed, no doubt. I think he's been really good when good. But like right now through 5 games and a long way to go, where is their big weakness? Where's Oregon's weakness? Where is like these top teams? I feel like they're really good, but they're not great, Hutton.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a flaw. Like the tiebreaker to me would just come down to coaching. But that's how I would view it. If everyone at the top, you're trying to differentiate between the two and you can't have the head-to-head matchups. Look, Oregon has been extremely impressive. I like what I've seen there. But also, I mean, you mentioned the flaw. I mean, A&M, what Marcel Reed did on the road with Notre Dame. Let's go. We previewed that, Nuño, with you guys. I joined you preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Reed was right here in Nashville. I called his high school football games. That dude is a baller. I love watching him play. I don't doubt him for a minute that he can lead A&M and look. I mean, look at the Heisman. Let's just view it from this angle. Look at the Heisman odds right now. Carson Beck. You've got. Let's see. Right now, Ty Simpson, I think, is second in the odds, and there's Marcel Reed and Joey Aguilar not too far down the list.
I'm looking at it right here, guys. Carson Beck, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, Fernando Mendoza, Trinidad Chambliss, and Marcel Reed, CJ Carr. Look at these names, man.
That's right. Now think about it from the perspective of this feels like the Hendon Hooker, Caleb Williams year. Just out of nowhere, Caleb Williams is like third on the list, and then he gets the vote at the end of the year. It's not crazy. By the way, Pavia was going to be, in my opinion, he was going to be the fan favorite for the Heisman had they won that game.
Yeah.
Had they won that game. Now, Ty Simpson's going to have his moments coming up, but when you look at the A&M schedule and when you look at the Tennessee Volunteers schedule, it's not inconceivable that both of those dudes could skyrocket up those Heisman ranks, just based on the fact that a lot of Heisman voters don't watch every single game. They watch these national title games in big moments, and the head-to-head matchups with quarterbacks matter. I don't know what you guys think, but that's kind of how the college football playoff's going to go. There's going to be a lot of 2 and 3 win teams, or 3 loss teams, that are debated. And if Notre Dame gets in this year, we riot.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, this final push here for Marcel Reed. The LSU game is going to be a big one, and I think that game is going to be at night. It's in Baton Rouge, right?
Yep.
I'm going to assume it's going to be at night. LSU would be dumb to put that during the day. That could be the marquee game that week. If he does something in that game where you're like, oh my God, then he could be the front runner after that game with 4 weeks left. And then, of course, ending at Texas could be the moment for him to really seal it. Who knows what happens with Texas? But yeah, it's all up in the air. And this is good for college football. We say it every week. This is great for college football that there isn't one runaway story. Everyone has a flaw. Everyone has a chance to still make a push for it, right? Florida, let's say they win out here and they only have 1 loss in the SEC. They could be, they're playing the SEC title game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we watched Bama lose to FSU, and then I wrote them off. This is Kalen DeBoer's. They look like a West Coast football team. That's not to say they can't make the playoff. We saw Washington do it, but that's just it didn't look like Alabama. Now they're starting to look like that. Maybe they've turned a corner, and the quarterback is fit for that offense, right? So for Grubb offense. So I don't put it past any of the top 4 or 5 teams in the SEC to say that they're in contention. And I mean, look, there will be a 9-3 team that deserves to get in, and Notre Dame's going to get in over them at with 2 losses.
Well, let's talk about this. Who's got the most impressive win in college football this year? Because A&M going to Notre Dame sounded impressive, and I think Notre Dame's going to keep winning. Okay, you've got Oregon and Penn State going to the whiteout. Well, that's an impressive win, absolutely, the way they did it. And then
Bama.
But Penn State loses the next week to UCLA, so how impressive is it? We thought the LSU win over Clemson was a big win. Well, Clemson, outside of playing North Carolina, hasn't been good. Who's got the best win?
That's to be determined, I guess. I mean, look right now, I'm looking at look at Miami's schedule coming up. They've got no one ahead of them. In terms of their schedule because of the conference they're in. So their big wins are out. The other best big wins are probably to be determined when we get to November.
Yeah, I'm looking at Miami's schedule right now. Let's go through it real quickly. You got Louisville coming up, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh.
They don't have any national. They're going to be back on the CW.
But you know what they have, guys? They got Mario Cristobal an amazing recruiter, not the best coach in game. I'm just saying, like an amazing, and he's this team's probably going to be in the playoffs, and they might be the best team in football.
Oh, they will be.
But
hey, in the Catholics versus convicts game this year, I said I wanted to see. Like I was on the fence with Carson Beck because that last year at Georgia, I wanted to see if he had any convict in him, and that dude has balled out.
Yeah.
Like he's been really good. So
he's done enough to win.
Right. But on the big stage, like he came out dealing. So and early in the season, and did that against Notre Dame. So I'm looking at it thinking, if he's playing at the way he was 2 years ago, that's enough to put Miami as a true contender for the title. I mean, I because of the path they're going to be on with the playoff, especially if they have the path that Penn State had last year, right? Like that Franklin and Penn State are who they are. There's going to be a good program like Miami that will have a path like that and take true advantage of it.
Could that be Missouri?
Sure, but they have Alabama this week.
Yeah,
that's a great point. They host Alabama at 11 a.m. Central.
Ugh. And then they have Texas A&M in 2 weeks.
November 1st weekend, but also at home. Like I look at them, and by the way, I'm big on Ahmad Hardy, and Purvula's been fantastic. He's been really good.
Big moments that he hasn't capitalized on at Penn State, and get Purvula dealing with Missouri. That's something. It's quite the storyline.
But who have they beat yet? Now, if they beat Alabama, I'm going to change my tune. Their best win is Kansas.
Sure. That's a whole. Yeah, exactly. That would be the best win.
Yeah, I'm trying to see
because everybody's going to jump on their bandwagon, and it will be viewed as the best win because what Bama's been doing. Because Bama after Missouri, they have Tennessee and then LSU.
Oh,
so so they've got quite the gauntlet straight ahead, and I think South Carolina may be in between Tennessee and LSU. I'm trying to remember the schedule, but they have back-to-back Missouri, Tennessee. So again, Ty Simpson's got everything in line for him after waiting as long as he did to make a true legendary name for himself. It was something too. This is just an aside. The broadcast on ABC pregame showed no one but Pavia. That the first time that Ty Simpson's name was mentioned, to my recollection, was when he took the field. When the offense took the field and they show him running onto the field. That's Bama's quarterback versus Vandy's quarterback. That's how tight the SEC is and the storylines across the board. The fact that Vandy was a college game day and they had the spot that they did on ABC is something, considering 2 years ago Clark Lee was on the hot seat.
It's so good. I loved it. And that's
and you know what? It's not manufactured.
Yeah.
It's not manufactured.
It's well
in
earned.
The trenches. That's where they've really improved. They are competing in the trenches now, and we're talking about Vanderbilt. That the last time an offensive or defensive lineman was featured was whenever the last dude from the West Coast, Derek Mason's first recruit, called out Bama, and then they got their asses kicked like 59-0. Like it's been since then, and now they're actually getting after the quarterback, putting pressure on them. And they're protecting the quarterback to a certain extent. Pavia is going to get banged up with the way he moves and plays, but it's an SEC-esque front that they just don't have in past years to really make you believe that it's for real. Vanderbilt, despite that loss, I mean they're for real. I would not, instead of keeping teams out of the playoff, they can make a case for being in. That's what's different.
That's a great point. Go ahead, Nuño.
I was just going to say, I'm asking this question not because Raheel went to Texas, but I'm asking this out loud because I think this was an interesting question. I don't believe this will be the case, but could Texas be a 7-5 team this year when you look at what's still ahead and some of the question marks we have about them? I think they're closer than people are saying, but Vanderbilt, we just talked about them. They got OU this weekend maybe without Mateer, but they got A&M on their schedule. Going to Starkville, Raheel, you're about to find out. It's a different place. It's not like you look at the record and you're like, it's a hard place to play. Is it, Hutton, you start us off. Do you think are we looking at a maybe 7-5 year or no?
I mean, it's possible, yes. I mean, there are times where I'm looking at Manning going, if not for the last name, he'd be on the bench right now. And then the other thing that I want you guys to pick up on this in a moment. Where's the run game?
Mm-hmm.
It's not there.
The lack of the run game. Sark's saying that they couldn't run it tonight outside of Arch escaping for the pressure that he faced. Man, I mean, is this the last stand? Is there a scenario where if they don't finish 7-5, it's because they changed quarterbacks? That's the real. If they
it's
don't,
the offensive line. It comes down to the offensive line. They lost so much talent.
But how do they spend $40 million and that's an excuse now?
No, it's not an excuse, but you can spend all the money. But if you're a younger offensive line going into hostile SEC games and taking on teams like Ohio State, you're not going to do what you did last year. Like that was an NFL caliber offensive line. I think a lot of that comes down to, are they developing the guys? Are they ready? It's going to take reps. Arch also struggling doesn't help. Injuries at running back doesn't help. So it's like this perfect storm of crap. Yeah, that
and even the layups, they're missing their layups. You know what I mean?
Wingo had a wide open tight end on a trick play. Even he overshot that tight end like Arch Manning. It was so embarrassing.
I just don't. It's so dumbfounding to see where our expectations were versus the results. And in many cases, it's not if you lose, it's how you lose.
That's a great point.
That's the most surprising part. Not that Texas lost a game here and there. It's that they just faced their first SC opponent, which is also weird. But it's how they're losing games. And the fact that I had them playing for the national title against Clemson. That's how bad my picks were.
Well, a rematch of last year's game.
And by the way, Raheel, look, one of those opponents is amazing, or two of those opponents. But Texas has not beat a Power 4 team in their last, 4 contests, right? Am I right about that? They Ohio State in the playoffs, Ohio State to start the season, and I guess now Florida. So 3. Sorry.
3 in a row. So, I mean, let's go through it. They're 3-2 right now. Oklahoma this weekend, injured quarterback. They're favored by 4.5.
If Mateer was playing, what happens?
Oh, if he's playing, I think Texas loses. It's not even close, in my opinion, because Oklahoma's defense is going to give Arch a lot of issues because that offensive line, again, is just not up to speed yet. So I'm going to count this one as a win just because of the injuries. I think this is going to be an under, by the way. I think the number's at 42.5, maybe a little bit higher. I haven't seen the latest number. This is an underplay if I've ever seen one.
I got you on this. I'll look it up.
Kentucky, that one at Kentucky. What do y'all think? That's a win? I don't know.
At Kentucky, but Stoops finds a way to win every year. One game that nobody expects every year.
I'm going to say win right now. So let's go 5.
Oh my God. But the fact that's a great example of where we are with Texas. Right there.
We don't know. Yeah. Mississippi State, I don't know. That one's like a toss-up for me, right? Because
of those 3, they're going to lose one of those 3. I'm telling you, they're one of those 3. They're not going to win all 3.
Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, they'll win. Come on. Let's give them that one. Okay. It's at home. It's at home. Come on.
They'll win that one. I think they'll beat Vandy too. I think by that point, I think they beat Vandy too.
Yeah. So that would be 6 right there, 7 right there. And then A&M ruin your season in Austin. Chance to get into the SEC title game.
We'll be 11-0 at that point, so we just don't have a perfect season. Who cares? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not kidding.
I have a predicament here that I'd love to get y'all's thoughts on, okay?
Yep.
So I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she just celebrated her 3rd birthday. It was great over the weekend, had a blast. And she goes to gymnastics, all right? So my wife takes her. And my wife has become really good friends with the other gymnastic moms. I don't know them at all. I met them over the weekend for the first time. Nice people, cool. But they're doing this party now on Saturday at 4 p.m. And Texas and OU go down at 2:30. I love watching this game. This is like my one thing. I don't want to go watch it with other people. I like watching at home.
Why do you have to go?
I'm with you.
Why can't Nishma go?
Because she's like, you have to come to this.
This is
my gymnastics friend.
You work in sports. Nah, it's fine. I got you.
I don't think I can get away with this one. And to add another layer, Jonathan, if I don't go, we're going on vacation next week. So then the whole vacation is going to be this like tense, like, well, you didn't come to this party.
No. You just have champagne in the room when you arrive on vacation.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. If the kids are with us, she's going to be, I'm so mad. And I keep hinting at her. So the
party starts right around kickoff?
Yeah. So it'll be, the party's at 4 p.m. So maybe at the end of the first
How close
quarter,
do you live
I might have to leave.
Hey, how about this? Hutton, tell me if you agree with this. You say if the game is close when it's time to go, I'm staying. If it's a blowout and Oklahoma's killing us, I'll be glad to take you.
I don't even want, if Oklahoma blows them out, I don't want to go to people's houses. I'm going to be so upset.
I'll go.
And if it's a close game, I don't want to watch with people I don't know. Because then it's always like, I can't do it.
And you seem like a very nice guy, so I'm guessing you're not going to get. When you say you're upset, I think most SEC fans would be like their week is ruined, they're pissed off, and the wife would know exactly how you're going to be. That's not the case with you, so it's not like you can pretend to do that. It doesn't sound like.
No, and this game has caused a fight between us, like a bad fight. We were on vacation one time. It was that year where Ellinger was quarterback. OU was up 2 scores, and they made this big comeback.
Oh, God. Yeah.
We're kayaking on Lake Travis. I'm trying to watch the game. I hit her boat. She almost fell over. It became like a whole thing. The whole weekend was ruined. So this game always ruins my life.
What is it with the vacation around this time for you guys?
It's because in Texas they have fall breaks, so the students are off. So we always take a little trip or something, right?
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm dreading this Weekend. And I've been hinting little things that are like, oh, what if I just show up like at 6 o'clock?
Look at Nuño, just with legs crossed. He's just like, well, it's good to be A&M. That's what he's thinking right now.
Yeah. Hey, first off, great to be 5-0. I'm very worried about Florida, but I don't know what it's like to take a vacation in the fall because we don't get that fall break. Hey, Hutton, just some final thoughts on this A&M Florida matchup, because I'm really concerned because I think Florida's got everything capable of winning against anybody in the country. A&M should win because I think we're a better team, and I mean the record would tell you that, but it's still, I think Florida, especially the way that defensive line gets after people, I'm a little worried.
I mean, they've got top talent. The problem is I don't think they have top talent at coach. I mean, they're winning games, and he's still making decisions. Like the Texas game, I didn't watch every snap. I'm watching other games as well. But like I'm watching the bottom line on the TV, and that game wasn't close, and it ends up being that way. And it's because Napier keeps throwing the football. Just small details, and then again, I've never seen a fan base that wants a coach gone more that has a possibility of winning the way they do with the talent that they have. A&M should win this game though. This is set up. How many times have we previewed an A&M season where you're looking for reasons if this happens and this happens, if this happens? That's now Florida. That's not A&M anymore.
Right.
So I view it as the Aggies go and win. I've picked against Florida several times, and I will continue to do so, just because I don't buy the whole the Florida revamp the way I saw it last year. Napier, it just feels there's a different vibe to it coming off of wins. Yeah, is how I will describe it. Not losses, but wins. And last year I know A&M struggled after the consistency of the hot start. But hey, Marcel Reed, what he's been able to do, I trust their play more than I trust the up and down play of Florida offensively.
It's my buddy Jonathan Hutton, OutKick. He is the best.
Okay, the over-under, by the way, for Texas was 42. Does that sound right to you guys?
Sounds right. Yeah, I think it opened a little bit higher, but it dropped to 42.
Okay, it's like 42 and a half is what I see. Yeah. What's the over-under for Florida A&M? Do we know that?
I don't have that. Do you have it, Raheel?
If I had to put a number on it, I would put 53 and a half maybe.
That high, you think?
Okay.
Two defenses playing at a high level? A&M's given up 10 points and 9 points in the last 2 weeks in SEC play?
I think A&M's going to steamroll.
I'm thinking about the defenses there too. Yeah, like you're saying.
I don't think Florida's. I think Texas was just that bad in the trenches.
Here we go. I'm pulling it up finally.
What's it at?
Okay, so it's 42 and a half Texas, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
A&M, Florida is 46 and a half.
Wow.
Okay.
And this is under the lights in College Station. Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
Double under that.
Let's go, man.
Parlay. If it's 46 and a half, go the under.
Tennessee, Arkansas, 69 and a half.
Woo.
Hey, now. Well, I mean, Arkansas can't stop anybody.
The only other game right now, I take that back. There's 2 games in the 50s. Alabama, Missouri, 52 and a half. Ole Miss, Washington State is 58 and a half. And then there's 69 and a half. Dude. Arkansas and Tennessee.
That's crazy.
Mr. Hutton, I appreciate you as always. Hope to see you soon, man.
Yeah, always great to see you guys. I appreciate the invite.
Talk to you soon.
Nice meeting you.
Later, man.
Jonathan Hutton. I love that dude. When I feel bad, though. He's probably listening still. We were in Nashville. We were going to hang out at the All-Star game. And, of course, because I'm old, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. We were supposed to go hang out at the All-Star. Clay had a suite at this hotel overlooking the ballpark. And they're like, you can come watch the All-Star game because it was in Atlanta during the SEC Media Days. And Billy's like, call me when you go. I'll go with you. After dinner, I was like, I'm going to bed.
You didn't go.
That's
There's
how I
no
roll.
chance.
That's just a famous Nuño move. Hey, I wanted to close out with this topic you had on here about Penn State. I don't think you can fire James Franklin, by the way.
Why not?
I mean, they're a 10-2 team every year. Now, this year doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But I don't think you fire him. You asked if is it a marquee job? Absolutely. I think Penn State's a marquee job. But I want to pull up Penn State's schedule the rest of the way because I know they got some more landmines to go. But
pull that up because the logic on this one is, he's always 10-2. He's there.
They got to the Final Four last year.
He's not going to beat Michigan. He's not going to beat Ohio State.
Are they going to fire Sark? No.
No, you don't fire Sark because he just came off 2 semifinal appearances.
Penn State just had one though.
Where you have to step in and say, "Hey, you need an offensive coordinator that's calling plays from now on. Okay, you need to manage the program. Let somebody else do that. I think you step in and do that first, and then if that doesn't work next year, then you have to have a tough conversation of is this the guy or not? He got us to the SEC. He made a splash. That was fun, but at some point you have to make a move for the program, right? And I think for Penn State, the reason I'm asking, is this a marquee job, is let's say if Dan Lanning takes a bigger job, right? I don't know where that would be. Let's say he's like, I'm out of Oregon. We've seen that happen at Oregon before. He leaves. Which is a better job, Penn State or Oregon?
Penn State.
Like there can only be one marquee job between these two schools, and I think Oregon is the bigger job.
Well, I'll say this. I think it's a marquee job because you're one of the 4 best programs in the Big Ten. And the Big Ten is Big Ten and SEC are 2 alpha jobs, right? Or alpha conferences. So I still think it's a marquee job, no doubt. But I'm looking at what Penn State's got the rest of the way. Northwestern this week. They go to Iowa. Could be interesting, but I doubt it. They go to Ohio State. There's their 3rd loss. They host number 7 Indiana. They have Michigan State, Nebraska, and they close out with Rutgers. At worst, they're 8-4 this year, I think, right? Like, I don't think you fire a guy who just got to the semifinal. Now, if next year is a 9-3 year, an 8-4 year, then absolutely. But I know he doesn't win the big games. I recognize that. But I have a hard time firing a guy that got me to the Final Four last year, whatever the path was. And by the way, this is off topic, but I'll just close with this. Have you seen how similar Jimbo's numbers and Sark's numbers are? They're kind of similar.
That's been the case for a while. Even last year it was the case.
Yeah, but I just think it's interesting because if Jimbo made the playoffs in 2020, I think you would have looked at he would have still gotten fired, by the way. You would have looked at his time at A&M a little bit more favorably. They got robbed in 2020, in my opinion. They got robbed, okay? But they're very similar numbers, and I'm shocked it didn't work with Jimbo. I'm still shocked by it. I am not shocked it hasn't. Well, it has worked with Sark. This year it's looking, but Sark has been better at Texas than I expected because I looked at what his record was, which was a 500 coach when he got to Texas, and I was like, that's who he is. Then he had really good years in the Big 12 and had an excellent beginning to the SEC play. This is more like what I think SEC play is, and I still think Texas can make something of this season. Absolutely. They absolutely can make something.
Yeah. They're a younger team. It's one of those years you have to kind of, take your licks and get your licks in now because after last year, you lost so much to the NFL. It was the whole hype thing is because they're coming off of 2 semifinal appearances, the hype of Arch Manning. I get all that. And look, the recruiting classes were top 5, all that stuff, right? But it doesn't work like that. You have to have those down years. You have to work your way up. And next year, if they are 8-4 or 7-5, there's a real conversation to be had about what do you do with Sark.
But
after this many great recruiting classes, what do you do? Do you give him one more run at this? I'm okay. I've been very critical of Sark. I think everything I need to see about Sark, when you can't get a touchdown when you need it from the 1-yard line multiple years in a row in deciding games, that's a major flaw that you're not improving on. And if you don't improve on flaws, then how are you going to get better?
By the way, speaking of teams losing guys to the NFL, Ohio State also in that same predicament. Now, I don't know who they've beaten yet, and that's not a shot at your team, but they look good, but they haven't played anybody yet. They're about to start playing teams. So I think we'll find out a lot about that. A&M next year potentially could lose 11, 12 guys to the NFL. How do they replenish? And again, a lot of those guys are on the offensive line. This is the future of college football. So, by the way, I went to my nephew's funeral, and it just got me thinking. I just want to give a shout out to Heritage Films, because you think of Heritage Film. They're a sponsor of the show, No Layups, by the way. You think of a Heritage Film for like older folks. None of us are promised tomorrow, Raheel, and a Heritage Film can be a snapshot in time about where you are in your life. It could be about your dad. It could be about your uncle. It could be about where we are right now, right? The Heritage Film is a 2-hour documentary about you, your family business. Chance is the best at doing that.
Yeah, he's the best at this. You look at it and you go, why would I want a documentary on my family? Go to their website and check out some of the reels that they post and some of their trailers, and you'll understand why they do this and why you need to do it for your family. It's an incredible product. They make it seamless. They'll help you get all your pictures in, clips, interviews. They set up everything. All you do is show up, tell your family story, and it's there forever.
All right. I got to go. I got a press conference to go to with my good friend Mike Elko, who called on me last week and said, "Hey, David Nuño, row 3.
Everyone freeze. Nuño's talking."
Boom. That's exactly what happened, actually. All right, Easy. Talk to you later.